Welcome to our first module in yoga. And this module, we're going to be using the information to really cast our big picture for the course, which is, why are we studying yoga in a religious studies course? Is yoga religious? So as we begin this module, I want you to read a couple of news stories about yoga and religion in the news that helps us to orient the idea of why this is an important question, both for U.S. politics and including schools, but also more broadly, can everyone do yoga, whether you're a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist? How can yoga fit into all these different traditions? Because for many of us, yoga, we really think of it as an exercise routine or something that you would do in the gym or a yoga studio. But as we'll see throughout the course of this semester, that might not necessarily be the case. And we'll transition from some early understandings of yoga that seem very religious to eventually how yoga became what it is today. So in this first module, after we read these news stories and start thinking more broadly whether or not yoga is religious, we're going to read one of the oldest and most important religious texts within the Hindu traditions, known as the Bhagavad Gita, or the Song of the Lord, or the Song of the Blessed One. The Bhagavad Gita is an important text because it has a lot of information about Hindu philosophy. In fact, some people even consider it the Bible of Hinduism, which is not entirely correct, but as we go through it, you'll see why a lot of people think that this could be the case. And as we go through this, what we'll notice is that the Bhagavad Gita actually has one of the first longest sustained conversations about yoga and what it is. So as we're going through this module, pay attention to the ways in the Bhagavad Gita that Krishna frames the idea of yoga, how it's being defined as a path to eventually overcome reality, to achieve something bigger. And look at how he prioritizes different forms of yoga. He'll say there's three. There's knowledge yoga, there's action yoga, and there's devotion yoga. And what he says through the course of the Bhagavad Gita, that in fact, devotion to God is the highest form of yoga that you could possibly do. And throughout this conversation, never does he actually mention doing positions or postures, the kind of yoga that we know. So keep that in mind. And to wrap up this module, as we will with each of our modules, you'll be required to write a yoga journal. And in this journal, what you need to do is you need to watch a video with the link included in the assignment and see how the things that we've talked about within the Bhagavad Gita, how it compares to yoga being portrayed in this class. So the name of the class that we'll watch is called Devotional or Bhakti Yoga, in which it talks about doing asanas, or at least in the title, it talks about doing asanas as devotion to God. So look at the things that they're doing and compare this, both the rhetoric and terminology that's used in the description and the postures and how it's being done. Compare this with the stuff that we learn about the Bhagavad Gita and see how the idea of Bhakti Yoga might change over time from this very old ancient Hindu text to the modern video that we'll be watching.